Hola estudiantes y bienvenidos a Vodcast 8.1 El Condicional. Welcome to Vodcast 8.1 The Conditional. Student learning goals. Students will be able to use the conditional in Spanish to express the idea of what would happen. Students will be able to use the conditional to make polite requests. Students will be able to express conjecture or probability about a past event using the conditional. El condicional. El condicional is used to express the idea of what would happen. This should be a review. I think that you should have all learned this in Español Tres, so hopefully there aren't too many questions and we can get through this quickly. AR, ER, and IR verbs all have the same endings. For regular verbs, the endings are added on to the infinitive. However, for verbs that have irregular future stems, we have to use that future stem in the conditional. So this should be somewhat fresh in your memory, considering we just went over the future, right? So let's take a look at the endings that we use in the conditional. These are our endings. For yo, it's ella, tú, ellas, él, ella, usted, ella, nosotros, íamos, vosotros, íais, ellos, ellas, ustedes, ían. And you'll note that yo and el forms are the same, but we figure out, which person we're talking about by context, right? And here's an example of a regular verb, gustar, and how we just add on the ending. So, me gustaría ir a Perú este verano. Just take the infinitive, gustar, and add on that ending. Now let's take a look at the irregulars. So here's our list of irregulars. Same ones that are irregular in the future tense, right? So caber turns into cabre, haber turns into abre, poder, podre, querer, quer, saber, sabre, poner, pondre, salir, saldre, tener, tendre, valer, valdre, venir, vendre, decir, dir, and hacer, har. So that will be your stem that you're going to use in the conditional for those irregular verbs. And here's an example of using poner. Pondría la mesa, pero tengo que irme. I would set the table, but I have to go. Now let's look at some of the uses of the conditional. So first, we use the conditional to express what would occur under certain circumstances. So here's an example. En Venezuela, ¿qué lugar visitarías primero? In Venezuela, which place would you visit first? So again, we're talking about what would occur under certain circumstances. So if I were to go to Venezuela, I would do this. Iría primero a Caracas y después a Isla Margarita. First, I would go to Caracas, and then I would go to Isla Margarita. Again, using two regular verbs and adding on that proper ending. Otro uso, to make polite requests, which I'm sure you already know. Me gustaría cobrar este cheque. I would like to cash this check. O podría firmar aquí en el reverso. Would you please sign here on the back? A lot of times we use this if we're working, right? These people are probably working in a bank. Or if you're at a restaurant and you're ordering food, you could use me gustaría el pollo o quisiera un café, algo como así. Otro uso, to express what would happen after another action took place. Creía que hoy haría mucho viento. I thought it would be very windy today. However, to express what will happen, the future tense is used instead. So here's the difference. Creo que mañana hará mucho viento. I think it will be very windy tomorrow. So this is used in the future. as the first example, we were talking about what would happen if another action took place. We'd use the conditional. However, to express what we think, what will happen, we use the future. So that's the difference right there. Just note when you use the conditional and when you use the future. To express conjecture or probability about a past condition or event. In English, we usually say wondered, must have been, was probably, things like that. So, ¿qué hora era cuando regresó? What time did he return? Sería las 8. It must have been 8 o'clock. It was probably 8 o'clock. Again, talking about probability or conjecture in the past. Another example, ¿cuánta gente había en la fiesta? How many people were at the party? Habría como 20 personas. There must have been about 20 people. There was probably 20 people. Finalmente, we use the conditional to report statements made in the future tense. So if someone tells me, iremos a la fiesta, we'll go to the party. If I want to report that statement to somebody, I would say, ellos dijeron que irían a la fiesta. They said they'd go to the party. So just reporting statements to somebody else, we would use conditional. Ahora práctica escrita en Google Docs. Escribe un resumen de 5 o 6 oraciones en español sobre lo que aprendiste durante el podcast. Incluye 2 ejemplos del condicional, por supuesto. Y también escribe 1 o 2 preguntas sobre dudas que todavía tienes del condicional, si las tienes. Si no tienes preguntas, por favor, no haz preguntas, no sé, tontas, ¿ok? Y la fecha de entrega es el 14 de marzo, es el jueves que viene. Muy bien. Tengan un buen día ustedes.